Okay, hi and welcome everyone. My name is Hannes Namberg, or Local Party, as you might know me as. Or probably don't, I'm not famous or anything, so don't worry. And I'm gonna do some sort of producer 101, how to produce, and this is gonna be the first part. It's gonna be Big Room, the popular genre you all know about, and yeah, this is what we're gonna make. In the end, I will cover the drop in this part, and we'll talk more about the build up later in the next tutorial, and then we're gonna talk about the chorus and yeah, what's before the chorus, probably bridge or something like that. Yeah, and let's go. Yeah, so and for reference, I had some problems with mic levels and versus the music. The music was way too low, and my volume was way too high. Yeah, but let's get started. Here we have, you heard the drop like really recently, and I'll just go through what kind of sounds and how I thought, and then you will play around with it yourself. So first, what kind of sounds do we have? We have a reverb snare that is in origin, I think, Cascades from some of their tracks. And you will have to, sorry, I had to use a really weird driver, so it sounds pretty weird overall. But and then we have another snare to add some low end to the snare, and then we have a bass drum just to fill up some of the low end that I felt that my tuned kick did not have, and the tuned kick sounds like this. And then we have a backbone drop, which is like the backbone basically of the drop saw. When I layer them together, they make a good lead sound together, not so good one by one. So it sounds like this. And basically you will get FLP and everything, so you can play around with it yourself. So I'm just showing around right now what kind of sounds you will be getting. And then we have this sound. Yeah, and then for the drop we also use the sub bass, which you might not hear if you don't have good speakers or good headphones, but it's there to add a lot of low end to the tune kick, which I felt it did not have in my studio speakers. It sounded very flat. I'll go through the effect panels a little bit. Usually what I do is just put a make good use good samples, make good patches, and put a reverb and a sound goodster for some of that. I think a sound goodster is basically a compression and some exciter, basically. And then I walked from there, and then the bass drum is just I tried to EQ the low end. Tips when you're IQing is basically to, you see this, where there are a lot of orange, red and yellow or whatever. Try to boost that a bit, just to like boost, or don't boost if you want to get rid of it, then you just turn this down. This is basically, you boost some frequencies. If you pull it down, you do not boost it, you, I don't know what to say, dim it maybe, or something like that. Yeah, basically, whoa, yeah, shit that. And then we have this gig that I felt really needed some more bass, some of that, not the low end, just the bass. And to get that distorted sound that you hear, that's distortion. I tried to get some of the high end as well, the treble. I don't really know how to say that though, but probably something like that. One thing that I'm not completely sure of is, I think if you want to, this one is tuned to G3, or G basically, and basically that's what I've built this song around. I think you can, if you use the time stretching and pitch it down, I think 1 cent is basically one note here. So if you're building it from E, you would put it down 10, 20, 30 cents. But I'm not completely sure, so don't take my word for it. Look it up if you want to, yeah, do that shit. And then we have this one that is, I put an EQ, boosted really much because I felt it needed it. You see, boosted them. Parts where I anyway felt my way when you EQ a lot of it. This pull stuff up and down and feel where you feel that it's needed to boost and not boost. One tip I'm gonna give you right now for always when you're producing is always in FL Studio there are gonna be a limiter here. Always gonna be a limiter here. Remove that one because that one will destroy your mixing when you're doing your mixing, basically. And then I put some sound goodster, pretty low effect on that one. Just a standard reverb. Just if you click in reverb, you will get exactly the sound. You could use the reverb to 2. That's probably better. I don't know why I used the reverb, but yeah, I did. And then a fast low pass filter. And this is for the build up, so I'm gonna show you that in that tutorial, so it's not that important right now. I'm also gonna show you how I made this is sidechain basically, which means that if you play this now together with a kick, you see the volume goes up and down. Here basically is 0 volume, 0 volume, full volume. And it follows this like to not mess with the kick. If I would have removed it, it would have sounded weird. So this makes it a better flow and better mixing, because the frequencies don't mess up with each other. They don't. If you have a bass line, you have to do this with sub bass. I have done this because otherwise the low ends will try to fight with each other and the sound will become terrible. So basically, I'm gonna show you how I did this now. You put in a empty gross beat, put in sidechain, pull this one to 0, pull that one, drag in the middle. You see this one, these smalls, pull that to -4 basically, and did this to everyone. And then I saved preset as, and then I just have it there. And every time, this is the fastest way for me, and it works good for me. There are better ways to sidechain, so if you want to sidechain something good, check out the tutorial for that if you request it. Yeah, I want to say as well, if you want to request some other producer one-to-one, I basically do every 128 or 110 or trap, basically I can do a tutorial on. Then we have the drop saw. It sounds like that. I boosted very little, just the high end, because I felt it needed it. A lot of sound goods, it would sound like boring without that one. Just add a lot of energy to it. And then the fast LP, I will show you that one as well in the next tutorial part. And sidechain. And then we have the sub bass. I added it because I felt this one did not have any low end, and I already said that. That is as well. And okay, you need massive. You need massive and silent to use this one, and please don't ask for links to it. Find it yourself if you don't want to buy it. And here we have the gross beat, the sidechain, and boosting the bass a lot. If you don't have good speakers, you won't hear it, but in the clubs it makes a huge difference. So that's basically that part. And what I'm thinking about is because when you make these tuned gigs, it's basically if you would distort the sub bass and the bass drum and layer them on top of each other, you would have the classic tuned kicks. So that's a way to do it. I have found a sample and used that because it goes faster. I will not show you the presets, how I made the sounds here, because that would take forever to do, but you will have the sounds when you just open the project, so that should be no problem. And then we can go on to the next part, where you see I added a lot of layering. My biggest tip to music is basically layering, because it makes such a difference overall. One sound sounds often very weak, but when you add a lot of sounds together, a lot of them with this one is, I think, like high-end sound, and this one as well. And that's a laser, but that's another thing. And you add different sounds and add them together to make your sounds a lot fatter. And this is basically what it sounds like then when you add everything together. No, that's not at all what I wanted to show you. And this laser here, no, here, it's basically, it's going to, this is what I'm basically doing here as well with the fast LP I showed you before. A low pass filter makes the sound go, let me show you here, lasers, woof. It makes the sound go from maybe here, where you will probably not hear shit, and then when you pull this one up, it will basically, what it does is cut off all of the, I can show you at an equalizer curve. It basically cuts off, if I would pull the 4 down here and just drag it and say that thing does not go up, that's basically what a low pass filter does. It mutes all the high-end things and until you reach the bottom, and that's what's happening when you pull this one. Resonance, not completely sure about, so read up on that if you want to learn. Then I added a clap. Yeah, I will show you the sounds first. Gosh. This is Mombaton kind of sound, and it's Inspire. Yeah, you need Inspire as well, sorry for not telling you that. And that's basically what I've done. EQ, sound goods again, sidechain, nothing special there. And here we have this one, lasers, yeah, equalizer, sound good sir, reverb, all the same. Remember, this is a very like fast thrown together song, so yeah, I showed you that shit. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. And then we have this shit, that's an EQ, sound good sir. And then we have this one, that is an EQ and sound good sir, and they sound like so. And here's to add that high end that you often lose. And in the drop as well, I added some claps that I found. This is basically a loop, and it sounds like this. Really like reverby and nice, and just equalize them a bit. Let's see here, I did not like that part, so I took it down. And that is basically, and of course, just the basic, these ones are just white noise that goes down, sidechained. You know how I showed how I sidechain? You find them in like the sample packs and stuff like that, but it sounds like, just to add some, it would be pretty boring without it, so it sounds like this without it. And then with it, it sounds just add some sort of energy to it. And that's basically it. Stay tuned for the next one, and be sure to grab the FLP and subscribe. If you have any questions, don't fear to ask them. I would love to reply, and requests are welcome. And have fun.